Yes guys, my name's Brad Eyre. Welcome to Blaze Focus, a brand new YouTube channel for all things Sheffield United. So if you've come from TikTok or Instagram, welcome back, but if you don't know who I am already, I make Sheffield United content and Premier League content on my TikTok and Instagram. So I thought why not make long form content on YouTube covering match previews, match reactions and other miscellaneous stuff. My aim for this channel is to upload 2 or 3 times a week, obviously match preview every weekend or midweek games if there is one. I'll also do match reactions and play ratings after every game if I'm able to watch them. Then once a week I'll do a bit of midweek content such as today I'm doing a tier list of every Sheffield United player this season. So I've took all the Sheffield United players from this season who've played at least 1 minute in the Championship, ranking them into 5 tiers. As you can see now on the screen, the tiers are top 3, solid, showing glimpses, needs a loan or not enough minute played, and then not good enough. We've got 28 players to go through in this list, starting off with Michael Cooper. I'm putting in not good enough. It feels so harsh as Cooper was one of the best keepers in the league last season. He was so good for it this season, he's just dropped off massively. All the goals that we concede nowadays are just so easily stoppable. It's just not being stopped by Cooper because he just isn't in form at all. Obviously when Sellers came in, a lot of players were out of form, but then as soon as Wilder came back in, they got back into form, but Cooper isn't one of them. Regardless who the manager is, you've got to do the same job as a keeper, keep the ball out of the net, simple as. And I'm a massive fan of Michael Cooper. I've just got to say he's not good enough anymore. We need a new keeper. Brad Davies have also gone for not good enough. He's just absolutely atrocious. I don't get how he's our backup keeper still. He's only played once in the league this season, coming on at half time against Coventry when we were 1-0 up, then we lost 3-1. And I've got to say he was at fault for at least 2 of the goals, if not all 3 of them. I mean, at the moment we're not exactly blessed with keeper options. I mean, Davies is just so shaky net. He's not comfortable at all. And I don't really get how he's still at the club, to be honest. I thought we'd have gone and signed him back up in the summer, if not this January. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens in January if we get a new keeper. Moving on to Tanganga now. I'm going to use one of our top 3 spots. I think he's just been that incredible this season. If you look at the defensive starting part of the season without Tanganga, it's so shaky. But then as soon as Tanganga came in, it was quite solid. And I think all season he's been one of the most consistent defenders and players in our team. I think for me, with Tanganga, the game that stands out is that 1-0 loss away at Middlesbrough, just making block after block after block on his debut. And of course, when Wilder came back and the defence has got a bit stronger, he's definitely been a massive part of that. The next player up is McCallum. He's so unlucky to miss out on top 3. He's definitely up the top end of solid. If it had been a top 5 at the top, I definitely would have put him in that 5. I just think he just misses out in that top 3. But that doesn't take away from his performances this season. Always been absolutely solid in the absence of Burrows' form. Obviously, we'll touch on Burrows' form in a minute. I just want to talk about McCallum because he's been incredible this season. He's just been so good in that left back spot. He's solid going forward, he's good in the air, and he's very good defensively. And as far as consistent performers go in this team, he's definitely right up there. The next player up is Bindon. I was told whether to put him in not enough minutes or shown glimpses, but I think he's done enough to show glimpses. Of course, when he was brought in under Sellers, the first few games he was an absolute car crash, didn't play much under Wilder until that Stoke game. And then the second half of that Stoke game definitely reignited his Bramall Lane career. I've got to say, the Wrexham game aside, he's been pretty solid in every game he's played for the club so far since Wilder came back in. I think having that solid partner in Tanganga next to him definitely helps. I know he's playing on the weak side, but still he's been incredible. And overall, he's gone from not having a Sheffield United career at all to having a big part of the second half this season. Next up, we've got Harrison Burrows. I don't think he's been awful this season, but he hasn't been brilliant. That's why he's been shown glimpses. I think in terms of performances, Harrison Burrows has definitely dropped off, but there's been some games where he has been alright. I think a couple of recent ones that stand out is the Stoke away game and the Blackburn away game a couple of months ago. He's definitely shown glimpses of what he's capable of, especially what he showed last season, but he just hasn't been good enough this season or consistent. And it gave McCallum a chance to shine in his team when Burrows was out of form, and he's definitely took that chance, so it's Burrows' spot to gain now. Next up, we've got Ben Mee. I've put him in solid. I've been really impressed to say he's 36 years old. Of course, at the back, he was forming a very solid partnership with Tanganga before he had his hand surgery. And he was a big part of that form between November and December where he was so solid at the back. And I think as well, he's that leader in the dressing room. We've not got too many old players this season, but I think he's definitely one of the oldest. So I think having that voice in the dressing room and that character is just so integral to a team doing well. The next player up is Jamie Shackleton. No surprise, he's going in not enough minutes played. He's been injured so much. I think throughout the whole of 2025, so the end of last season, the start of this season, he played like 2 matches. And even saying that, there were about 20-minute sub appearances from the bench, so it's not that much. It's just such a waste of wages and a space in the squad because he just doesn't play enough. He's so injured all the time. And even when he has played, I haven't really seen anything that he offers. I just don't get why he's there, to be honest. And overall, I just don't think he has a Sheffield United career ahead of him, to be honest. Next up, we've got Mark McGuinness. I'm going to have to put him in not good enough. He's been shocking when he has played. Of course, he was one of many bad signings in the summer under Sellers. I don't get why he signed him, to be honest. I thought when he signed him, he might be a solid backup, but he hasn't really proven anything to be good enough for the squad. And I mean, every time he has played, he seems to be one of the worst players on the pitch. He's so shaky. He's not really solid at the back. I think the only half good game that he has had is that Stoke home game where he played 45 minutes, then went off at half time. Of course, he got his goal. But other than that, the West Brom game, a couple of games later, he just looked absolutely shaking. Of course, gave away the second goal. And he is one that I definitely looked to ship out in January. Next up, we've got Ben Godfrey. He has to go in not good enough. He's been absolutely awful when he has played. And I say when he has played because he's barely played for the team today. He played a few games, was absolutely awful, then he's played for the under 21 since. Obviously, something's gone off behind the scenes because Wilder said he wasn't playing for personal reasons, but he's in the under 21s. There's been a lot of rumours on Twitter. I don't know what's true and what's not, so I'm not going to spread any of that in this video. But we've terminated the loan early. He's back to Atalanta. It's probably best for both parties. Next up, we've got Femi Siriki. He's definitely going in the top 3 for sure. He's been one of our best players this season. And I'd definitely say he's the most improved player this season. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't bad last season, but he wasn't brilliant either. And I think last season he definitely showed glimpses of quality, but this season he's just been consistent from minute 1 to minute 90. Of course, he scored his first goal of the season against Stoke. He's got a few assists to his name. He's just been absolutely fantastic down that right wing with Andre Brooks. And overall, at the minute, he's one of the best players in our system and so integral to how we play. For Arblas, as much as I'd love to put him in shown glimpses, I've put him in not enough minute play because I just don't think he's played enough yet after his injury. Of course, he returned from his year-long injury about a few weeks ago, but I don't think he's done enough or played enough minutes to go in that higher tier. Don't go wrong, I think he's definitely harsh. He's fitting very well and been solid in them games that he has played. And that ball he played to Sariki for the third goal against Leicester was definitely a glimpse of what's to come. Don't go wrong, if I made this tier list about a month later, I think he would definitely be in the higher tier, but for now he's in this one. The next player in this list is Gus Harmer. I think he's just about in the solid category. It's definitely contentious. There definitely is a debate at the moment that O'Hare is better than Harmer in this certain system. And I've got to say I do agree with it. O'Hare seems to shine much more when Gus Harmer isn't playing. But overall, I think he's done just about enough to get into this solid category. Most games he's played, he's been solid to be fair. He's provided a few goals and assists, so for me that's solid. The next player up is Callum O'Hare. He's been our best player by far this season, so he's in that top category. I've got to say O'Hare has been so vital to the way we play this season. He's been so phenomenal. So far this season, he's scored 7 goals, 5 assists in a struggling team, which is just absolutely amazing. And I don't think he's bound to his goals and assists either. His general play is absolutely phenomenal. He just works his socks off every single game. I mean, 1 minute we'll be on a counter-attack, the next minute we're getting counter-attacked. He's at the back with the defence to help them out. And he's the sort of player you want in the team. He's a dream for a manager, of course. He works his socks off, 110% effort every game. And overall, he's definitely our player of the season so far. Next up, we've got Andre Brooks. I think he'd definitely make a top 5 category as well, but he's going in solid. I think the main thing that lets Andre Brooks down is he's consistent, to be fair. One game he looks so good and the next game he's not really on it. But I'd say he's had more good games than bad games this season. He's been outstanding on that right side alongside Sariki. And it's been mesmerising to watch in some games, especially the last game. Luke Thomas just didn't have a clue how to mark him. And I think that understanding, like I mentioned with Sariki and Brooks down that right hand side, is just so vital to how we play. And I think that right wing spot now is definitely Andre Brooks' spot to lose. Next up, we've got Jibril Soumaré. Such a confusing player to watch. I've put him in shown glimpses. He's had a very shaky United career, to be fair. Some games he looks like a prime Vieira, other games he's just so shocking. For example, early in the month we played Norwich at home 1-1. He scored an own goal. It was absolutely abysmal that day. And then fast forward a few weeks later, he's putting in man of the match worthy performances against Stoke and Leicester. So overall, he's been solid in parts, but I just don't think he's enough to be in the solid category itself. And I think there's definitely a player in there. If he has more games like Leicester and Stoke rather than the Norwich ones, he'll be a good player for us. Next up, we've got Tom Davies. I'm putting him in not enough minute play because he just hasn't played that much this season because of injury. Tom Davies is such a frustrating player because every time he plays, he seems to have that quality in midfield, but he's just always injured. It's quite frustrating, really, because of his own wages could be spent on another player who could play a lot of games. This isn't me having a go at Davies personally. I think he's been very unlucky with his injuries throughout his career, but it just isn't good enough. And sometimes I've got to think about the club as well as a player. Next up, we've got Heath Chong. Once again, I'm putting in that shown glimpses category. He's not been brilliant this season. There's definitely been a couple of games where there's some signs of him being a solid winger, but overall, I just don't think he's done it consistently. The game against Norwich about a month ago, he was solid for about 60 minutes. He was a bright spot in a poor team that night. He's had a couple of half-decent performances, been injured quite a bit, but overall, I just don't think he's done enough. Next up, we've got Ogbene. I just don't think he's been good enough at all. I don't know if he's going back to Ipswich. I was really excited when we signed Ogbene. I thought we pulled off a very good signing on deadline day on loan. In his signing interviews, he spoke very well about the club, about the city, but I just don't think he's performed well on the pitch. He's not played for a couple of months now because of injury and just not being chosen. But when he was playing, he was struggling. He was fast, but nothing else. He couldn't take a man on. He was losing the ball so easily. But overall, the performances just didn't warrant any other tier, so he's going in not good enough. Next up, we've got Alex Matos, who's going in not good enough. He's been abysmal when he has played. He signed for a couple of million in the summer from Chelsea, but he's not really proved his worth so far. He's only played a handful of times. He's not looked very good when he has played, to be honest. And he's one of the players that Wilder is looking to get rid of in January. The next player up in this list is Sidney Peck. He's going in solid. He's had a good season so far. Don't get me wrong, the first couple of months of the season he was quite poor, but since then he really turned it around, got a couple of goals to his name. And he's got a decent partnership with Riedewald. Them two in the middle just look so solid every time they play. There's a couple of highlights from this season. Of course, the Portsmouth goal, his first ever goal in professional football. And then a few days later, Leicester were already 2-0 edge of the box. He just hits it so sweetly. And Leicester made it 3-2 in the second half. That proved to be the winning goal. Overall, he's been solid. Of course, he's been out a few weeks with an injury. I'm looking forward to seeing him back. Next up, we've got his midfield partner, Riedewald, who I'm also putting in solid. He's been phenomenal. We signed him in September as a free agent. I wasn't too sure if he was going to be any good or not. But my word, has proved me and a lot of Sheffield United fans wrong. He's just been so solid in that midfield. It was always going to be tough replacing that Sousa sort of player in the midfield, but I think Riedewald has been a decent replacement. I'm not saying he's near the Sousa levels, but I don't think he's actually that far off, to be honest. And it's one of them. I think he likes some qualities that Sousa had, but he also has some qualities that Sousa didn't have. Overall, he's been a solid free transfer. It's a good job we tied his contract down. Next up, we've got Louis Barrett, another player whose loan has been terminated early, and for good reason as well, because it was absolutely shocking, so he's going in not good enough. It was once again another signing I was buzzing about. Of course, he was brilliant at Stockport last season and the season before. It didn't quite work out for Hull previously in the Championship, but he was injured a lot of times, so it's harsh to say it didn't work out. But as soon as the season started, he just wasn't good enough from the get-go. He was just so weak, he was losing the ball so easily, and the work rate on that left wing was just nowhere to be seen. He was just god awful. He's a player I've followed throughout his career. I was buzzing when he signed for us, but it just hasn't worked out. I wish him well for the future. For Tom Cannon, I was so close to putting him solid, but he's gone in shown glimpses. I don't think he's done enough yet. This last month or so, since the Sheffield Wednesday game, he's been so phenomenal, scoring quite a few goals. But overall, the first 2 or 3 months of the season have definitely cost him in this list. He wasn't too good. I will cut him a bit of slack. He was playing out wide a lot under Sellers, which wasn't good enough really. But I think since that Wednesday game and since we've started playing 2 up top, he's definitely played to his strengths. The Leicester game, which he scored in, was just such a great example of how he can lead that line so well with a partner next to him. And of course, he's on some decent form at the minute, scoring a couple of goals in his last few games. And hopefully he can keep it up because he's definitely started to look like the player we signed 12 months ago. Next up, we've gone for Danny Ings. I've also put him in shown glimpses. I think he's been decent in a couple of matches. I think it would be harsh to put him in not good enough, but I don't think he can go any higher than shown glimpses. He's definitely had a few games where he's put himself himself about and got a few chances such as Wednesday and the Norwich games. He's got 1 goal to his name, like I mentioned, that Norwich game, but overall he's not been good enough but not bad either. For Tyrese Campbell, he's just about snuck into solid because of his Derby Day performance. But compared to his standards last season, I think he has been definitely disappointing this season. Maybe it's a 2 up top, that doesn't suit him. But of course, he still has a few goals to his name, including the Derby Day double at Hillsborough. So in my eyes, that game and a couple others definitely warrants a solid place. The penultimate player on this list, Ryan Ona, is going in needs a loan. He's had the odd few minutes, I don't think he started the game yet, but he hasn't looked too great. I think there definitely is a player in there, we saw that in glimpses last season, but he definitely needs a loan to League 1 or maybe in League 2. I think he needs consistent minutes in a decent League 1 team, maybe someone like a Rotherham who have been interested, because clubs like Liverpool have been interested in him in recent months, so I think there's definitely a player in there. You don't get interested with Liverpool for no reason. I think it's just a case of he's not ready for Championship football yet, but maybe in a couple of years with a couple of loans he will be. And last but certainly not least, for the tier list, we've got Patrick Bamford who's going in solid. Patrick Bamford signed a contract in November and my god has he had an impact. He's got 5 goals in 10 games to his name so far this season. He's been absolutely phenomenal up front. And he's definitely a different type of player up front compared to Cannon, Campbell and Ings. I just think he's been phenomenal. And there we go guys, that's a tier list from this season. All 27 players have been ranked. There's quite a few players that are up for debate, so if you want to let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, that'd be brilliant. And thank you very much for watching this first video on the channel ranking every single United player. As always, leave this video a like, subscribe to this channel, follow my socials, and I will catch you guys in the next one.